Check one, check one. Check 1, 2, 3. Got to see if it's loaded yet. Because we're going super fast this week. All right. I believe that it is working. We're here for Shooting the Breeze, episode number 49. Like I said, kind of a quick edition more than likely because I got a lot going on this week and in this month in general. So we're squeezing in some airtime to provide some NFL Week 11 predictions. And if we have any free time, we'll talk about UFC 309 because that is a colossal event taking place this weekend. I'm only probably going to talk about the main event. I will very much say that. And again, that's if we have some spare time and how we're feeling, how the course of this episode goes. You can see that we're on Fall Guys. I almost said Fortnite because I just got done playing Fortnite. Got a win in that. 12 eliminations. Maybe I should have streamed that instead. But I want to redeem myself on Fall Guys because we had a pretty bad performance last time around. So I'm trying to redeem myself a little bit while talking Week 11 in the NFL and potentially UFC 309. Stipe, Jon Jones. But let's get to starting Fall Guys. In the Week 11 of the NFL season, the season is flying by, which I will probably say that for the rest of the season. And we have a loaded slate, like 4 to 5, like super matchups, playoff. One of them isn't, all right, one of them that I would consider a super matchup is the Sunday Night Football game, which is kind of hard to say those are playoff teams. Like, they're playoff caliber teams, but they're not in playoff positioning yet. But we got a lot of good games this week. 4 teams that will not be participating because they are on their byes are the Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, who were the international game last week, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the first game that we'll talk about, one of these super matchups, the Washington Commanders. And on my notes, I wrote down Commander, so it just would have been one singular player. At the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams. I can't really say both teams are on a roll because the Commanders did lose last week, but they're doing a lot better than they did last season. And this is a fun Thursday night football game. Now, what I'm going to do now is extremely struggle to remember what last Thursday. All right, I'm not going to struggle because last Thursday night football game was another great game. That was Ravens and Bengals, so we should have another week of that. Hopefully, I think the smart choice and my choice for this will be the Eagles, but this will be the one time this week that I say I wouldn't be that surprised if the Commanders won. As our next matchup, one that I have my eyes on, my Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears, which I did not know this was an away game for my Green Bay Packers. Hopefully a better performance than the last time we saw them because we had a bye week. Not even going to try to talk about the game the week prior, but I'm going to go with my Green Bay Packers winning this. Jacksonville Jaguars, potentially without Trevor Lawrence again, against the Detroit Lions. I would love it if the Jaguars won this. I would love it. But I really would be surprised if that happened. I will say this. Last week, I said, to be fair, the Jaguars had a kind of close game last week against the Vikings. And I said that same thing for that. And I said the same thing for the Patriots-Bears game, in which I picked both the NFC North teams. And I was 1-for-1 in that situation. So it's kind of a similar situation here, but I'm just going to expect the Lions to win. Las Vegas Raiders at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins kind of got their mojo back on Monday Night Football. I love Brock Bowers, but outside of him, the Raiders don't really have much of a mojo right now. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win this as everybody is on this side. It's good to be in the middle, especially because 12 people can qualify. Because right here, this is where everybody starts messing up and knocking people over. Because I can't really fall off because, like I said, I'm in the middle of all this. As it's hard to keep an eye. Because the next game is Rams and Patriots. Which I will admit, the Patriots last week won. The week before that was a close matchup with the Titans. Just go straight. Just go. Oh, I lied to them. Okay, maybe. All right, yeah, now just go straight. Okay. As we didn't freaking make it. That's hilarious. Going with the Rams, but the Patriots do have a good shot at winning this. This next matchup is very unpredictable and not really in a good way, as it is the Cleveland Browns at the New Orleans Saints. The Browns were on their bye last week. So I'm going to go with the Saints, who did have a upset, redeeming victory against the Falcons, and maybe, ride that mojo. Another one of these super matchups up next, as divisional rivals. Always a hard-hitting bout between these two teams. Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams have done very well this season. And I will say, because I've said this several times, I have not picked against the Ravens this year at all. And this will be another case in that. I'm going with the Ravens. And I'm going to break my own rule. Because I said that I had this saying that I will say I wouldn't be surprised if the other team won. And I said I'd only say that once a video. Because we have 4 super matchups, I'm going to say that for each one of those. So this is the second time I'm saying it. Got 2 more times to say it. As the next matchup is the Minnesota Vikings at the Tennessee Titans, which I will be honest, I don't remember who the hell the Titans played last week. Did they play the Chargers? I believe they played the Chargers. And that was just, I don't remember seeing anything offensively from them. So that's kind of why I went blank on that. As much as I'd like to see them win, probably a Vikings win here. This game, at the beginning of the season, I believe that this game was actually listed for Sunday Night Football, and they changed it. And like I said, at the beginning of the year, this probably would be a very exciting game. But now, week 11, and we know what both teams are, it still has the potential of that, but more than likely will be very sloppy and head-scratching. That being the Indianapolis Colts at the New York Jets. It's just, for the Colts, I don't really know what to say. For the Jets, it's kind of a worse situation because they're in a bigger market and very much are expected to do a lot more. And they made the freaking Devontae Adams trade, which they did beat the Texans, but haven't really built off anything since then. I'm really going to think about this because I wouldn't mind the Jets. I'm trying to talk myself into who I could actually see winning, because I'm not going to say this. This kind of is a coin flip game because the two teams are very similar, but I don't know. I really don't. I think I'm going to go with the Colts because they've been the more, I can't even really say consistent team this year. I expect them to put on a better performance than I would the Jets. Let's put it that way. As I didn't get eliminated, but I was very freaking close to it. So I'm going to go with the Colts. The Jets do have a chance of winning this. It's just, you don't know what freaking version of the Jets you're going to get every week. Last week, we were expecting them to come back firing and ready, coming off beating the Texans on Thursday Night Football, and then they got crapped on. I could also use the other word that is crap, but dominated. And good on the Cardinals for doing that. Next, another very good matchup. I suck at this level. Atlanta Falcons at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were so close to beating Kansas City last week, but obviously didn't. For the Falcons, kind of the same for the Saints, but you were expecting them to beat the Saints, and they didn't. I feel like the Falcons is a team I've picked almost every week, and this was going to be another case of that. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. Seattle Seahawks at the 49ers. This matchup, I really would. I think the best way to describe it is I don't really care about this matchup. I hate talking about the 49ers so freaking much. And I think they should have lost last week, but obviously didn't, so I can't even really say that. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Screw it. This is just one of those, live your life. You only live once type of picks. I'm going with the Seahawks. Screw it. As now we get to back-to-back super matchups. This one probably being the biggest one because we consistently see this matchup every year in the playoffs and in the regular season, and it always tells 2 different tales. Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with the Bills. I don't care. I'm rooting for them. I think most of America, most of the people watching this game, will be rooting for the Bills. I'm going with the Bills to win this. But this is, like I said, this is another super matchup. This is either side could win, obviously. So I was not looking at the fruit whatsoever, but everybody's over here on this one. So, bro, he just jumped. They just jumped over there. As our Sunday night football game should be pretty good. Cincinnati Bengals at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Bengals are the more star-studded and more expected from team, but the Chargers have been very consistent and very good all season, including that big win. Dominant win over the Titans last week that somewhat slipped out of my mind for a moment. Another game. I don't know where to go. I should have known. I should have been looking at the fruits. I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo for this. So we set up one more game. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger, brush, go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And it landed on the Chargers. Bengals could obviously win this. The Bengals need to win this, you know, because Joe Burrow was like quoted saying like we need to win like 7 of our next 9, and they lost the next one, which was to the Ravens, which is an extremely tough matchup. They should be able to win this, but I'm gonna go. If I didn't already write it in pen, I would have just switched my pick just based off what I just said. But I'm going with the Chargers as the last game to talk about Monday Night Football. Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. A battle of Texas, a battle of very injured team, one more so than the other. I'm going to go with the Texans for this. They were very close to beating the Lions last week. They need a rebound. The Cowboys just keep sinking and sinking lower and lower into the hole that they have dug for themselves. And I don't think the Texans are going to help them out in that situation whatsoever. So, Week 11 predictions. Like I said, this should be a fun week of football matchups. I got Eagles, Packers, Lions, Dolphins, Rams, Saints, Ravens, Vikings, Colts, Falcons, Seahawks, Bills, Chargers, and the Texans. As now, through the duration of the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about UFC 309's main event. I don't have any NBA notes this week because it's the third week in a row I would have said the same thing probably over and over again. I will admit I have not talked about the Warriors at all in my NBA notes because I don't like giving them credit for whatnot, but I will pat myself on the back because a lot of people questioned the Buddy Hield signing, and I didn't. I'm like, I think it's the perfect fit. I don't know why it would be a problem, and the Warriors have been very good this season. I also said, hey, calm down about the Nuggets. Like, I don't think it's something to be all worked up on like people were at their start of their season because now they're 7-3, and Jokic is putting on freaking historic. Yeah, there's a lot of words you could describe Jokic, but like different level performances almost every freaking game. And the good thing is they're winning most of these games. So I was saying, calm down about the Nuggets. And then for the Cavaliers, good thing about the Cavaliers, they are continuing their hot streak. They're still, as of time of recording this, and by the time I uploaded it, they'll still be undefeated, which I like that. Good for them. And the NBA Cup, I will probably talk more about it once we get more games because we only got one night worth of action. And that first night, we got the Heat Pistons debacle. What was the first TNT? That was Embiid's return, which honestly and hypothetically, I feel the Sixers probably wouldn't want to win the NBA Cup because it makes them extend the games they got to play. And they're one of these teams that are so injury rattled that they probably didn't want any extended games. So they're probably not happy. They're probably okay with not winning. And the thing with the NBA Cup is that you lose. I think I'm going to have to think about it. Because I'm fairly because the Lakers didn't lose. The Pacers didn't lose. If I think and thinking about it correctly, if you lose once, you're pretty much screwed. But it's going to be like a time Like, see how it goes this year. But like, I kind of think like if you lose once, you're pretty much screwed. So there's some quick NBA notes. I'm not gonna write it in my notebook and count it. UFC 309. Stipe Miocic is my favorite fighter, so I do have bias about this. It is also actually insane that we're supposed to have this fight a year ago, and I planned on having this as a shooting the breeze topic, and then it's legitimately been delayed a year. And I might be spreading some misinformation with this. I hope that I am not. But it's just been such a weird situation. It's an anomaly because most of the time when an interim champion is crowned for something, it's champion versus champion. And so very rarely, I think this is the misinformation that I might be speaking on because it's been a year ago and I never saw like the full quote and context of the situation. And I follow some MMA accounts on Twitter, and most of them have been ass-kissing and pushing this Tom Aspinall fight. So I'll get to that in a second. But I think what I'm trying to get at... We're doing one more, because I'm just getting into these freaking... This map sucks. I'll just say it. This map sucks. Back to Tom Aspinall. But I don't think they offered Stipe the Aspinall fight, which a lot of people have said, well, why didn't he and all that, and they set that up and whatnot, because Stipe is definitely Stipe said he wanted Jon Jones. So I understand that situation, and it's a rare situation in UFC where I don't know off the top of my head if the champion has gotten injured in the next fight, wasn't the interim champion. It's the bout that is set. I'd have to like really think about it and look at it. Off the top of my mind, I'm worried about this bout and I'm not providing predictions because if you listen to the first sentence that I said, I will be showing bias and riding with the guy that I'm predicting. The whole kerfuffle, and I believe that is a made-up word, the whole situation, shebang about this has been what the hell happens after this fight? Can we get through this fight? And like I said, I follow a lot of MMA accounts on Twitter for it, and a lot of it, Twitter is not a good... Twitter/X, social media in general, is a very convice, and this has just been such a split situation and thought process of a lot of it, but just so many people have tried to insert Tom Aspinall into this and just kind of ruined it and say they don't care about it. If you don't care about it, it don't matter. Jon Jones hasn't really helped with that, and every day a new quote has, especially this week. In the past year or so, it's been a different situation every day, but especially this week because it's fight week and it, in the limelight. Jon Jones has it made it worse. And today he said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall because he thinks he's an asshole. He doesn't want to do business with him, and I somewhat understand it. But he was mainly also talking about his fan base and trolls and all these people that are calling him ducks because he doesn't want to do the fight and etc. And I understand it if you're being bothered by that every day. It's also, going on, and I'm defending Stipe here somewhat. But he was also very upset that he got called a bitch by Stipe in the UFC Countdown, and I'm quoting that because I don't like... Sometimes cuss words slip out of my mouth, but as we're going to get eliminated, I could already tell we're going to get eliminated. I kind of deserve this. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, yes! We were the last or second to last? Last to qualify. Boom. He got called a bitch by Stipe in the Countdown special. Jon Jones, you 110% have been called way worse. I could just very much say that. So I thought that got blown out of context a little bit too much. The other thing that I'm kind of on his side with is he was saying that he wants to fight Alex Pereira, which is the hottest name, biggest name in the UFC right now. You could argue with Topuria. I don't really know how you could say he's ducking Tom Aspinall and he's in a bitch if he's going to fight like the top name in the company. Granted, at the moment that he is saying this, he is a champion that legitimately has a number one, because a lot of times you don't know who the hell they're supposed to face next and who the hell the number. He legitimately has a number one contender in Tom Aspinall, and it's just a weird situation where the UFC. I don't think they care that much because they know that people want to see this fight. There's potential. Whatever they do after this fight will be interesting and whatnot. But if you heard my first sentence, you kind of know the route that I am rooting for. So it's always fun when UFC is at Madison Square Garden, except this is hardcore AHS UFC fandom. Freaking UFC MSG 2018, which was Daniel Cormier and Derek Lewis. Top, like, 3 most hated UFC fights. Because Derek Lewis literally legitimately fought the previous month. That was Khabib and McGregor. I believe that was 229 to be exact. And he won last second and legitimately said, hey, I don't want to fight. But this is when he said, my balls are hot, and his popularity rose. They did not have a main event for that show because everything fell through. Daniel Cormier was like, yeah, my back hurts. I don't really even want to fight. And they did that fight, and it sucked, and I hated it, and I knew I would hate it prior to it even happening. So, top 3 most hated UFC fights. That one, McGregor and Cerrone, I was so hyped for, and everybody was, and it just ended like that. And I kind of, it was not one where I got excited, and I just kind of sat there like, that's what's really going on here. Ngannou Miocic is the second one. Is kind of, it's on that list. Those are the top 3 that come to mind. If I like really, look, I like the UFC. I love the UFC. This past year or so, I have definitely tuned out and watched a lot less. I think I was really excited for this initial fight, and then it got postponed, and it kind of calmed my excitement down. And like I said, I just have not watched as consistently as I have the past couple years. I will admit that. As we, I was about to freaking snap. But this will be a good jumping on point. And also the thing is that I've tried to do, I'm trying to like stay unbiased, because I have very much said the best UFC fights are the one where you don't care who wins and you just hope for a good fight. And the day and age and the fighters that I grew up watching and liking slowly and surely are going away. And this new, in quotations, new era that we're in, I don't really, like, off the top of my head, have the biggest deal in disdain for any off the top of my head. But I'm trying to get to where I'm unbiased toward the situation. That way I could watch the fights and I don't really care who wins and loses. That's what we need to worry about, winning and losing this, because it is extremely close. And we immediately got eliminated after I said that. And nobody was getting, like, why the hell did it take so long? Like, everything's bouncing. All these balls are bouncing off people. Why is it taking so long to freaking get eliminated? All right. That's a good ending point. Got everything off my chest that I needed to. If you don't see as many videos from me for a while, like I said, I got a lot going on. But I love staying consistent. So that's why the only videos y'all have really been seeing for me this month have been Art Review, Shooting the Breeze, and AHS Plays. At some point, I'm very, very much hoping at some point I'm able to make my fantasy booking videos for the Continental Classic 2. I've been working on it for a while. I just don't know the best time to upload it, but I'm still working on it. I'm going to end this video now and continue to work on it. So I do appreciate y'all watching this. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Provide your UFC 309 thoughts. It should be a very fun show, and one I think a lot of people have been looking forward to almost a year. Over a year now. So I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.